The sheep were sold and the wool sent down at the time of our local races, and I'd earned a spell and was burnt and brown, so I rolled my swag for a trip to town for a look at the steeplechases. It was a rough and ready and untried course, as rough as the blacks who found it, with barbed wire fences topped with gorse, and a water jump that had drowned a horse, and a steeple 3 times round it. There was never a rail the tracks to guard, just some scattered posts outlined them. And the day was hot, and the drinking hard, and none of the stewards could see a yard before or yet behind them. So the bugles blew, and the nags came out, all but an old outsider, whose trainer was in an awful rout, for his jockey'd gone on a drinking bout, and left him without a rider. "Is there never one in this crowd," cried he, "is there never a man so clever? Is there never a man that'll chance a ride on the old grey horse on the northern side, that was trained by the Mookie River?" It was an old grey horse that they call the Cow, and a cow would look well beside him. But I was pluckier then than now, and I wanted excitement anyhow, so at last I agreed to ride him. Then the trainer said, "Well, he's terribly slow, and you haven't a chance whatever, but I'm stony broke, and I've got to show a trick or two that the trainers know, that trained by the Mookie River. The first time round on the further side, with the bush and the trees about you, just pull behind 'em and run out wide, then dodge away in the scrub and hide, and let 'em go on without you. The third time round for the final spin, with the pace and the dust to blind 'em, they'll never notice when you chip in, and in the last half mile you're sure to win, and they'll think you galloped behind 'em. You must rush your jumps in the first half mile, for fear he should refuse 'em. He'll try to quit with you, I'll be bound, but take whip and spur on that mean old hound, and don't be afraid to use 'em. At the water jump you've got to swim, for you haven't a chance to clear it, unless you skim as the swallows skim, but I know him well, and it's not for him. He'll never go next to near it. But don't you care, just plunge across, he swims like a well-trained setter. Then hide away in the scrub and gorse, the others will be far ahead of course, and the further ahead the better. The third time round, when the pace is slow, and you are quite fresh to meet him, sit down and hustle him all you know. With whip and spur he's got to go, but you remember you've got to beat him. So the flag went down, and we seemed to fly, and we made the timbers shiver. At the first big fence, as the stand flashed by, I heard the ring of the trainer's cry, "Go on for the Mookie River!" So I jammed him in a well-packed crush, and recklessly out for slaughter. Like a living wave, o'er fence and bush, we galloped on with a steady rush till we came to the dreaded water. I have to laugh as I think of it now, and the way I contrived to work it. Jammed right in as quick as a wink, he found himself on the water's brink, with never a chance to shirk it. The thought of the horror yet beguiles the heart of that mean old rover, and he gave a jump that'll go for miles, and a leap that'll clear the Channel Isles, but he carried me safely over. On the further side I pulled him back in the shade where the gum trees quiver, and I waited there in the shadows black while the other horses round the track swept on like a rushing river. The second time round, as the field swept by, I could see that the pace was telling, but on they thundered, and by, as they passed the stands, I heard the cry of the folk in the distance yelling. The third time round, as the hoofbeats rang, I said, "Well, it's now or never," and out on the heels of the throng I sprang, and the spurs bit deep, and the whipcord sang, as I rode for the Mookie River. So we galloped for home in a cloud of dust, and the curses arose in chorus. 'Twas flog and jostle, and jump you must, and the cow ran well, but to my disgust, there's another got home before us. It was a big black horse that I hadn't seen in the part of the race I'd ridden, and his coat was smooth and his rider clean, and I said to myself I can't have been the only one that was hidden. Then the trainer came with visage blue, that way that the race concluded. Said he, "I thought you'd pulled me too, but the man on the black was planted too, and nearer to home than you did. So here's to those good old days of sport. We hope they go on forever. You don't believe my tale, I say. Hell, that was a matter of every day when we rode for the Mookie River." As I was a-walking down by the river, I chanced for a roam, and I heard someone making some sad lamentations about a young infant that wasn't their own. Hush-a-bye low, sweet baby, lie easy, perhaps your old daddy will never be known. But it's weeping and wailing and rocking the cradle and raising an infant that isn't your own. Your mother, she goes to the balls and the parties and leaves me at home with a cradle to rock. And a nasty young devil looks out of the cradle and calls me his daddy, but God, I'm not. Hush-a-bye low, sweet baby, lie easy, perhaps your old daddy will never be known. But it's weeping and wailing and rocking the cradle and raising an infant that isn't your own. Grandfather murmurs miles a chain are out tonight for the Stormy Jane. A brig she was, and as able a thing as ever tuned shrouds for the wind to sing. But the ablest comes under the devil's thumb when a skipper takes sights through a keg of rum. In a southeast gale she threshed away, up seas hot foot to Fundy Bay. And the mate he knowed and the crew they knowed she carried too much of a canvas load. But still he told 'em to crack it on, that drunken skipper, Clubfoot John. And the mate he prayed, and the mate prayed they, he'd anchor in soundings till break of day. But a keg of rum walked that quarter-deck, and a keg of rum don't fear no wreck. Down she went with every man, battered to shivers on Grand Manan. 11 lives in his blackened soul, widows and orphans and bells to toll. You can hear him now when the gale is on, roaring and cursing old Clubfoot John, stamping around his windlass there where the snow whirls white in the offshore air, clanking an endless anchor chain into the peak of the Stormy Jane.